Okay, it's time to cut. What? That's right. That's right.
Hey, how y'all doing? This is Mongo Slade, and today we're going to talk about Edge and what it seems to be his farewell on Raw, which was very interesting. So Edge comes out during Drew McIntyre's promo, and we'll talk about Drew McIntyre in a different video. But he comes out during Drew McIntyre's promo, and he's befuddled by the concept of Drew McIntyre not being threatened by him, not being concerned by him, but being quite respectful, actually. And he's saying, like, I'm a legitimate and viable threat to the WWE Championship. And Drew McIntyre is like, yeah, sure. if you say so. like, and so he's, Sheamus is there for some reason. And Sheamus is being intimidated and really getting in Edge's face. And we'll talk about Sheamus in the McIntyre video later. So Edge warns McIntyre of, basically of the looming threat of Sheamus. Then he talks about he'll let McIntyre know what his decision is. And that's pretty much the only real tease we get from him, the world being the WWE champion. And then we get Randy Orton. So Randy Orton is going to wrestle Edge tonight and then we didn't know about this until the show had started. But at least they put something out there. So Randy Orton cuts this promo. Great Randy Orton promo, by the way. It was fantastic. Of course, there was no scars and or burns on his face. So either this guy heals like Wolverine, or they forgot that Randy Orton was supposed to be burned in the face, or we're gonna say, well, Randy Orton was wearing makeup, therefore we didn't see the burns that was supposed to be on his face. But he also didn't sell any burns to his face, so I guess Randy Orton having a burned face didn't quite stick in the script. It was tossed. Whatever. Just like Randy Orton with the mask, which is really cool. This fucking sucks. Anyway, Randy Orton congratulated Edge for winning the Royal Rumble and says that Edge made him a liar because he told everybody that Edge was done. And that after all the things that he did for Edge, after all the beatings he gave him, trying to send him home to his family, he dared to basically make him look like a liar. So he says that he was doing Edge a favor and that Edge is not main event at WrestleMania. He's going to make sure Edge is not going to main event WrestleMania and that he's going to send him home to his family. And he says that all the compassion and all the mercy he showed to Edge before is over. He's not going to show any of that stuff now. So Edge kind of cuts this promo a little bit later, and it's also very good. These really dark room Edge promos where he's just kind of sitting there. He's going like, kind of just, it's like sitting around a campfire with your uncle or something like that. And he's basically talking about, on one hand, he was excited to win the Rumble, but then, he found out Randy Orton was challenging him to a match tonight. And he said, of course, Randy Orton would challenge me to a match after I worked an hour in the Royal Rumble. He worked 8 minutes. He basically faked a leg injury. But he says that, he couldn't give his daughters piggyback rides. He couldn't play soccer with them, all because of what Randy Orton did to him at the last match that they had, the greatest wrestling match ever that they had between the two of them. And that tonight it needs to end. He's got to get rid of this black cloud that's been dangling over his life for the last year or so. So he's got to get rid of it. And that black cloud is Randy Orton. So we get their match. The main event of the show is Randy Orton versus Edge. And it was solid. It wasn't the best match that they've had, but it was a really good match. Edge likes this move called the anti-venom, and I've seen it a couple of times now. It's basically like a stand-in anaconda vice. It's not bad. I just want to. It's kind of. I really want to question how would a crowd react to it, because like when I seen him use it, I instantly went to how unover Kazuchika Okada's money clip is. I think I talked about this before. If I didn't, for all the new subscribers, let's talk about how unover that move is. I have never seen a top guy use a move that is less over than Okada using the money clip. It seems like people are not just anti-money clip. They just refuse to respond to that move at all. I have yet to see a crowd actually get hyped to see the money clip, ever. So I'm kind of wondering if that would be the same thing here. The same thing. What I kind of think a similar thing about Roman's guillotine choke. Like when guys add submission holds, very rarely do the. I mean, crowds of course pop for like the ankle lock or the sharpshooter, the figure four, stuff like that. So I'm really interested in how a crowd is going to react to Edge using this anti-venom move. Considering he hasn't won a match with it yet, maybe it probably won't be that over. But I'm interested in it. So essentially, Alexa Bliss came out there, shades of Pornhub, as she just let all kinds of liquids drip from her face, and she cost Randy Orton the match. Randy Orton loses via spear, and it seems that we're writing off Edge and Randy Orton, and now Edge is going to SmackDown. Now, he's going to be on SmackDown, let's put it like that. We don't know if he's done with Raw, but I got the feeling that he was done with Raw when he shook hands with Damian Priest. Damian Priest will also be talked about in a different video. But I like that moment. That was a great moment where he just kind of walked up to Damian Priest and was just kind of like, congratulations. You did a good job last night, did a good job tonight, and they shook hands. That was pretty cool. And that's when I kind of started to think that maybe this might be a send-off. They're wrapping up his only storyline on the show. Of course, they have a loose end with Drew McIntyre. They haven't said he's not going to wrestle Drew McIntyre, but they've all intents and purposes is looking like it's not going to be Edge versus Drew McIntyre, which is fine. Edge versus Orton is Edge versus Reigns is a better story anyway. That leaves a lot of to be desired for McIntyre because you have to find a high profile opponent for him too. So, is Edge done on Raw? That's a good question. I seem to think so. Now he probably still will make appearances, but I don't think he's going to wrestle on Raw. I think that if anything, he's probably going to show back up, and to continue this. They have to do the dance, right? The whole dance with will you or won't you with each champion. You have to go back and forth, and I think he's going to end up showing up on SmackDown. And whatever he was looking for in Drew McIntyre, he's going to find it in Roman Reigns. And I think he was kind of upset about the lack of fire and intensity and that sort of thing in Drew McIntyre, even though, it was there. It was just a lot more subdued. And I think he's definitely going to find he's going to catch his issue, as the Hot Boys used to say. You're going to get your issue messing around with the tribal chief, the head of the table. And I just can't wait for those conversations. Because I think he's going to go straight to Beth Phoenix on that one, dog. I think Roman's just going to be like, I feed your wife. I feed your kids, man. He's probably going to use their real names and everything. But that sounds like it's going to be fun. Roman Reigns versus Edge. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What did you guys think of Edge, his probably not final night on Raw, but I do think that this is going to be the write-off for him on Raw. And that he's not going to be exclusive to Raw now because he's the Royal Rumble and he can bounce back and forth. But I think that what was very interesting, I was about to sign off, but I just thought about something that was very interesting. There was no Bianca Belair on Raw. Bianca Belair didn't show up at all. She won the Women's Royal Rumble and did not even come out to talk about being the Raw Women's Champion. Interesting. I guess we all know where we're going with that. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to this channel, use the hashtag 3Count Commentaries to support the channel 3Count Commentaries. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Da, 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 da.